For the first time in the 5th season of the NCRA Hersheys Cup Series, we're getting ready to go racing. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 4th annual Clash at Daytona, presented by Reeses, as we are getting set for our first non-points race of the season, which will then begin us on the road of Daytona Speed Weeks, leading us to the big finale this weekend, or I should say this week, of the 5th running of the Hersheys Cup Series Great American Race, Daytona 500. 30 laps of racing here today, no points on the line, but two other P's on the line, pride and purse. And maybe some bragging rights heading into Speed Weeks as well. Some of these drivers got to get a bit of an upper hand over the rest of the field, as they're going to get to find out what Daytona is all about and some of the tricks of the trade they can utilize and put to good use during the course of this week, not only in qualifying for the Great American Race, but also in the Daytona 500 itself. 25 drivers have locked themselves into this season's Clash at Daytona, based on either having a pole position last year or being a former winner of this event. There is one driver to that exception. He's making one start this season that we know of, at least here in this non-points event, through special invitation, rolling off from that 5th position. That is Michael Norman for one race here at Daytona in the number 33 Friday the 13th Chevrolet. He was not qualified into this Clash at Daytona, but was given a special pass, special invitation, since he's basically a retired driver from the Hersheys Cup Series, coming here for just one start at the Daytona International Speedway. You can take a look down in the description to see what the full starting lineup for this race looks like, as well as the qualification each driver had to make their way into this event, as Keith Batson lines up on the pole. Batson, right now, the most active driver without a career win in the Hersheys Cup Series. He'd love to get his Season 5 Hersheys Cup Series off to a good start with a win here. Non-points win, but a win nonetheless. Alongside of him, Johnny Gardner in the 55 for Fitzwater Australia Racing, running a tribute car on his machine. You can bet he would love to be able to put that ride in victory lane. We're moments away from getting the command to fire up the engines. We'll give you a little bit of an outlook on some drivers that are some old faces in different places, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So we're going to go down trackside now, get those most famous words in NASCAR for the first time in Season 5.
Drivers, start your engines!
30 laps of racing, and you'll notice that there's something a little bit different from the clashes we've run in the past. That's right, it's daytime. We're not running under the lights here for the Clash for the 4th time. We are running it during daytime conditions, so this could make it very interesting for these drivers who may have been expecting to be running in cooler track conditions under the lights. 4 drivers come into this race, not exactly in the rides we would expect them to. They were locked into this event, but 2 of them are running full-time in the Pizza Hut X Series this season. 2 of them running full-time in the Tax Slayer Truck Series, but they were able to secure rides to take part in today's event. They include Joseph Srigley. He's going to be in the number 95, car that he owns here in the Hersheys Cup Series. They will be driven by rookie Caleb Farrell for the season. Caitlin Sang drove for CJ Racing last season when she ended up picking up her pole position at Watkins Glen. She's driving in a one-off race with CJ Racing again here in this one in the 08, the ride that'll be driven this season by Leon Alvarez. Zach Flickinger will be driving full-time this year in the Pizza Hut X Series, but he's in the number 89. That'll be driven by Quentin Moore this season. And Joshua Ciculli won this event, the very first Clash, back in Season 2. He's driving the number 73 car for his own team of WF9 Motorsports. Driving full-time in the Pizza Hut X Series as well this season. And we already mentioned Michael Norman in the 33 for Michael Norman Motorsports in a one-off race here today. Here we go then. We've got Lincoln, we've got Chevy, we've got Ford, we've got Mitsubishi, we've got them all. But only one driver can go to victory lane and start the season off right. For the first time in Season 5 here at the Clash, let's roll! Hillside line gets that good run through the middle of 1 and 2. Batson to the lead. Jessica Shelton will move to second. Sponsorship of the Tampa Bay Rays on her Retro Racing Enterprises Chevrolet, as we're down here in Florida, so representing the team in their home state. Michael Norman about to get some drafting help from last year's Rookie of the Year, Brooke Allan in the 3. Back for her second full-time season. Still looking for her first Hersheys Cup Series win of her career. Top 4 single files. They cross the line. Now Michael Norman switches lanes on Jessica Shelton. I don't think Brooke Allan was ready for that. She moved up to the high side again to try and help her team owner. And now she's behind Shelton. And here comes Norman for the race lead. And he's got a lot of friends down there with him. Cody Llamas, Florida native. Joshua Ciculli is there as well. And another teammate to that 33 car, the 29 of Nathan Hudson, and we're going to go 3 wide here on lap number 2. Ciculli to the bottom. We mentioned that this is our 4th Clash at Daytona, and all 3 of our former race winners are in this event. Ciculli won the very first Clash at Daytona back in Season 2. Anthony McCrury, back in Season 3, won the second annual Clash, and the defending winner of the Clash, going to victory lane last season, is Nathan Hudson. All 3 of our former Clash winners are in rides entirely different from what they drove when they went to victory lane in this event. Ciculli driving the 73 Eggplant Company Chevrolet for his own team of WF9 Motorsports here today. He was in the number 47 for JTG Darlington Racing victory lane in this event back in Season 2. Anthony McCrury drove a Ford for Seth Cole-Baker Motorsports in the 61 when he went to victory lane back in Season 3. He's in a Chevrolet now, still in the 61, still with the same team. As they're going to go 3 wide for the lead. That's Brandon Gonzalez on the bottom, Baskinger in the middle, and Zach Flickinger caught up on the high side there in the 89 Chevy Impala. And the very easy to spot number 23 Splatoon Mitsubishi Lancer now to the point. And then the defending winner of this race, Nathan Hudson, is in the number 29 this season. He was in the number 16 last season. Still with Michael Norman Motorsports. Whoa! Almost a little contact right there. Jake Baskinger getting a little squirrely after a bump from the Honda of Joshua Michaels, the Dragon Ball Z. It's Dragon Ball Z Super? Is that what the sponsorship is on that car? Not right off the certain. A subset of the main sponsor of Toonami on that Honda, and whoa! Might have been a little contact right there between a couple blue and white cars. The 22 of J Bryant, the 08 of Caitlin Sang. And are they going to go 4 wide? That's Kyle Matthews in the 09. Oh, is he going to stick it down there? Michaels is literally door-banging Jake Baskinger in the middle, and they are 4 wide. They're going to want to settle this out pretty doggone quick. Ooh, contact. Oh, Michaels trying to fit up in front of Baskinger, and he does. J Arndt going to let his teammate in. No, he's not. They're still 4 wide. Matthews, Michaels, Baskinger, Gonzalez. This is not going to end well. Another car up in the wall. That was Flickinger up in the wall in the 89. He's losing spots, and everybody's kind of stacked behind him, and finally they settle it back out to 3 wide. And after all of that, Kyle Matthews is the race leader. And I don't know why I have it on the fastest lap. That was crazy. They were 4 wide for almost a complete lap. I thought for certain they were going to wreck, but somehow, some way they didn't. And here comes Mr. Trent Dunham, a man who pretty much despises Daytona, especially during the Daytona 500 weekend. But he loves these non-points events. Car in the wall, Baskinger in the 5. Like I said, these drivers were planning to run nighttime conditions. Nighttime conditions, the track's a little bit cooler without the sun beating on it for hours. There's a lot more grip, a lot more opportunity to be able to make passes. These drivers are out there right now on ice skates. They are slipping and sliding around, trying to find grip and trying to make moves for the race lead at the same time. Kyle Matthews trying to hold off Trent Dunham. Matthews, the Season 3 Hersheys Cup Series champion. Trent Dunham, a two-time chase contender. And right behind him, you got Joseph Srigley in the 25. Srigley, 3 wins in his last 2 seasons in Hersheys Cup, but this year, not in the Hersheys Cup Series main event, as he is running full-time down in the Tax Slayer Truck Series after finishing outside the top 30 in the point standings last season. Driving the 95 that his driver for his team, rookie Caleb Farrell, will be taking over for this season. We've got some really interesting rookies in this season's event. Caleb Farrell, a number of drivers that actually are had moved up from the Hersheys Cup Series non-charter series. Caleb Farrell being one of them, Cody Smart another, Kev Shearer, Quentin Moore, and Alex Drayden. Trent Dunham trying to get that inside line going, but Kyle Matthews doing a good job defending. And now Trent Dunham's going to be able to get alongside. Not too far back there is Sean Gallighan. Both Kyle Matthews there in the 09 and Sean Gallighan in the 44. Former winners of the Daytona 500. Matthews won the 500 back in season 3, I believe it was. And Gallighan won it, or no, I think it was season 2 that Matthews won it, and Gallighan won it, I believe, was in season 3. Matthews, though, doing a good job, at least leading that outside line, trying to get them all together, and now Joshua Michaels behind him, and behind him is Anthony McCrury. We have never had a repeat winner in the Clash. So far, 3 Clash races, and 3 different drivers have gone to victory lane. Ciculli, McCrury, and Hudson. McCrury is up in 6th. Hudson's back there quite a ways, as is Ciculli, but they're all still up in this lead pack. Speaking of that, we should check and see if anybody may have lost the draft. No, they're all up here still. Every single car that took the green flag is still up here in this lead pack, which kind of surprises me because we saw a number of drivers get the wall earlier on, like Baskinger and Caitlin Sang was in the wall for a time, Michaels was in the wall for a time, and it seemed to really split the field up. But they've been able to all work together, bunch back up, and all 25 cars are still up here in this lead pack with more than halfway to go through this race. There you see Benjamin Miles in the 25 and 25th crossing the line. So all 25 cars are still running, and they're all up here still with a shot to win this race. But there's still quite a long ways to go, and the possibility, well, not even the possibility, they are going to have to make green flag pit stops before this race is over unless a caution comes out. Neither driver can get an edge right now. Kyle Matthews keeps battling back on the high side in the straightaways. Trent Dunham counters it with a good run through the corners. So neither driver given an inch. Matthews trying to pull that outside line along. Trent Dunham the lead man for the inside line, and they continue to battle here to see who's going to lead each lap. Kyle Matthews getting that run on the straightaways, able to, by about half a car length each lap, lead at the stripe. And now I think he's got Trent Dunham cleared. No, he doesn't. He tried to move down there to block the advance of the Sunchip Chevrolet. Couldn't do it. Moves back up to the top side, and Joshua Michaels. And these drivers aren't racing as aggressively as they were at the beginning of the race. So that kind of gives me the indication we aren't too far away from green flag pit stop. These drivers realizing they're going to have to start making some deals to other drivers of, hey, I'm coming in this lap. Please don't run me over, and I won't run you over. Because this pit stop that's going to be coming up could be very important as to whether you're going to come out in a big pack of race cars or by yourself. And we know that if you're in a big pack, you're going to produce a lot more speed. If you're in a pack by yourself, there's a good chance you're going to end up getting left out to dry, and pretty much your chances in the closing stages of winning a race at any superspeedway are nil. Ooh, Shelton taking a peek there in the middle of the pack to maybe go 3 wide under Sean Gallighan. Not enough of a run. They're 3 wide further back, though. That's Allan down on the bottom, putting teammate Nathan Hudson in the middle and Cody Llamas on the outside. So they're starting to make some moves there at the rear of the field, but up at the front, they are still 2 by 2 by 2. Might rain for 40 days and 40 nights. Noah's Ark maybe just outside the track, because they're all lined up 2 by 2. As Matthews again, boy, he's trying. He knows he's got to stop that inside line from getting the run into 1. He just doesn't get enough of a slingshot push into turn 1 to be able to clear Trent Dunham to be able to make that move. Oh, Gallighan takes a peek low on Joseph Srigley. Nothing doing there. You look here at the field and you see so many drivers that were in the chase for the championship last season. Trent Dunham, Kyle Matthews, Gallighan, Shelton, Bryant, McCrury, J Arndt, McCloud, all up here at the front of the field. But I think there are a number of drivers too in this field that we can look at and we can say they didn't make the chase and they're looking to make the chase this season, looking for maybe a career year for some of them. Joshua Michaels would be one. He's got I think it's 3 wins in the Hersheys Cup Series, but he's never made the chase for the championship. Chris Dodd, the Season 2 champion, obviously since that championship season, things have not exactly gone all that well for the 88 teams. As a matter of fact, he's not found victory lane since Season 2. Nathan Hudson, he hasn't been to victory lane since Season 2 when he picked up his first and only career win as a rookie for Michael Norman Motorsports back at Lime Rock. Kat Tellier hasn't been to victory lane since Season 3 when she won races at 2 road courses, and now we're getting racy at the front. 3 wide, 3 road lead. Noah's Ark can sail away. We're not 2 by 2 anymore. Srigley will go to the point. He's going to get some help from J Bryant, Quentin Moore, and Chris Dodd. And I think Srigley just barely by a splitter led that lap over J Bryant. Scoring monitor says yes. And I find this very interesting that they're getting this racy now when they were just all running 2 by 2, especially with the potentiality of green flag pit stops looming. But I think the thing I love the best is the fact that these drivers have raced this aggressively. We've had some drivers scrape the wall, and all 25 cars are still up here in the lead pack. This is a big reason why we're running under daytime conditions, because to be perfectly honest, most of the Daytona night tracks that I've run, if there's a wreck that happens, if there's pit stops that happen, if there's any kind of incident that happens, the field gets super spread out. A lot of drivers lose the draft. So, you know, biting the bullet, going unconventional, clashes under daytime conditions, and so far it's been very eventful and very exciting, as now Sean Gallighan, a former Daytona 500 winner, is going to go to the point. And it's eating me too much. I gotta check out the official NNSCRA website, which you guys can check out at NNSCRA Enter 1003series.weebly.com to find out when Sean Gallighan won his Daytona 500 and when Kyle Matthews won his, as Michael Norman in that one-off race in that 33 is going to go to the race lead, and we've got the pit stop starting. Johnny Gardner and Benjamin Miles will be the first 2 to peel off to pit road. Kyle Matthews won the Great American Race indeed back in Season 2. Gallighan in Season 3. The defending Daytona 500 winner, Anthony McCrury. Here comes Ciculli to the bottom of the racetrack on Michael Norman. Ciculli trying to become the first two-time Clash winner. And there's Baskinger, who was in the wall back near the beginning of this race. Now he's up to second place. Is anyone going to peel off to pit road this time? Looks like we got some takers. Ciculli, Baskinger, Batson, Fitzwater, McCrury, Sandfer, along with J Arndt, Jessica Shelton, Brandon Gonzalez, Cody Llamas, Joshua Michaels, Caitlin Sang, Trent Dunham, and Brooke Allan. So Chris Dodd inherits the race lead for the moment. Norman, Gallighan, McCloud, Flickinger, Bryant, along with Srigley and Matthews are still yet to come to pit road. Look at Gallighan with a big run down the back straightaway. Help from James McCloud. He's going to move to the point. James McCloud last season ran his first full-time season as a chartered ride. Went to victory lane twice. And now he's on pit road along with Gallighan, Bryant, Flickinger, Srigley, and Matthews. So two drivers left to come to pit road now. Michael Norman in the 33, Chris Dodd in the 88. A couple of Chevrolets, one out of Michael Norman Motorsports, the other out of CJ Racing. Now, two cars are not nearly going to produce the amount of speed that 8 cars are going to. We saw 8 drivers staying out down this back straightaway on the last lap, so we'll have to see where this positions both Chris Dodd and Michael Norman by the time these pit stops cycle back around. And they're coming to pit road this time. So now the question is, who cycles around as the race leader as we are under 10 laps to go? As Chris Dodd crosses the line now on pit road, there are 8 laps remaining in this race. Looks like it's going to be a gas and go pit stop for Chris Dodd. Tires not as much of an issue as I would have expected, especially with all the slipping and sliding around we saw drivers doing earlier. But the IKEA Chevrolet completes his service. He's down and away. Michael Norman as well. Norman's actually going to beat Chris Dodd off pit road. And now we got to watch the top right of our screen. There's a pack coming in. And that pack includes McCloud, Bryant, Batson, Ciculli, Gallighan, Baskinger, along with Flickinger and Fitzwater, it looks like. And here they come. This is going to be the battle for the race lead. Keith Batson, who started on the pole. We didn't really see much of him after that. He drifted back. All of a sudden, he's charged back up to the front after the cycle of green flag pit stops. James McCloud in second, JT Bryant in third. And then they're trying to settle it out for fourth between Norman and Baskinger. 7 laps to go here at Daytona. And now it's time for drivers to start making their moves, potentially for this race win. Lincoln, Chevy, Ford, the top 3. Lincoln has never been to victory lane in any type of a Hersheys Cup Series race. Obviously, they'd love to get their first win in a points-paying race, but I don't think they'd turn their nose up at a win here in the Clash at Daytona. They're 3 wide behind them, 3 wide, about 3 rows deep, and they've now settled it back out to double wide. Batson going to have to do a lot of mirror driving. McCloud's kind of trying to find a drafting partner. He may find one in either the form of Sean Gallighan or Michael Norman. It'll be the 33 who's going to hang on to third, and now Norman drives it deep into turns 1 and 2. He's going to take second. Gallighan's going to push him there. Here comes that 33 of Michael Norman. One-off race. Wanted to take part in the clash. He's making the most of it. Now hounding Keith Batson for the race lead. Gallighan moves to second. Brandon Gonzalez now moves into third place. That Mitsubishi Lancer. Gonzalez has not been to victory lane since Texas of season 2. look there in this pack, there's just a number of drivers that are still in this hunt. I think there are a couple of drivers after pit stops, though, that did lose the draft. Yeah, there's a second pack back here. Cody Llamas, Nathan Hudson, Trent Dunham, Jessica Shelton, Caitlin Sang, and Brooke Allan. They've lost this lead pack. They're in a second pack, so they're hoping that maybe, just maybe, they can get a caution, but they're going to need a caution very soon, because I think if we end up reaching about 3 laps to go, this race will more than likely end under yellow. At least they're all able to be in a pack together rather than one single car here, one single car there, a 2-car pack somewhere else. So right now, Benjamin Miles crossing the line in the 19th position. Nope, strike now. Yes, 19th position. So there are 19 cars in this lead pack with a chance of winning the Clash here today at Daytona. Batson continuing to hold the race lead. The best battle's going on for second. McCloud now, slingshots to the inside on Michael Norman. Both drivers looking for some drafting help, but you got to go back about another car length and a half to find any whatsoever. Gallighan, Gonzalez, and Flickinger all in that group, and now Gallighan gets a big run there through 3 and 4. Now he's got to get up there and help McCloud. Gonzalez going to jump up and help Michael Norman. A couple of drivers that are in this lead pack we haven't talked about today that you really just can't count out, because this thing ain't over. John Arndt in the 05, we haven't really seen him up at the front yet. Zachary Fitzwater in the 55, and Charles Sandfer in the 03. Don't count those drivers out. I don't think we've seen the last of them yet. They've been biding their time, staying out of trouble, and now maybe it's their turn to make a charge. Gallighan trying to reel in Keith Batson, but they're just having difficulty getting formed up back there behind Keith Batson. Kyle Matthews now put in the middle. McCloud on the high side. Michaels on the bottom. Gallighan trying to find some kind of a bubble draft push up to the 39 from one of those lines, and so far no success. 2 laps to go. Something's got to happen, and something's got to happen quick as Brandon Gonzalez just got up and into the wall. He's going to start drifting back, still in the wall there off turn 2. And he may end up losing the draft. Tough break there for the 23, trying to have himself in the hunt for this win, but I don't think he got put in the wall. I think he may have taken the corner a little too wide, and that's going to cost him. Joshua Michaels now moves into second. He's got Anthony McCrury pushing him. Kyle Matthews right behind in the 09. Chris Dodd now up in the mix as well. As the white flag is displayed, Keith Batson one more time around this 2.5-mile supersway. Lincoln in position 1, Honda in position 2. Then it's a battle between Chevys for 3rd place. Batson with about 2 car lengths in hand. He's been doing a heck of a job controlling the different lines, so neither one really gets a good draft on him. Michaels is going to need a big push down here into 3. And McCrury's going to dive low. That's all she wrote. Keith Batson. It won't be a points-paying win, but it'll be a win nonetheless. It'll be the first time Lincoln goes to victory lane in a non-points event here in the Hersheys Cup Series. Keith Batson will win the 4th annual Clash at Daytona, presented by Reeses. How about that? We won't be able to say it's the first time Lincoln goes to victory lane in the Hersheys Cup Series points-paying event, but it's the first time that a Lincoln goes to victory lane in an NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series event, period. And Keith Batson, could this be a sign that this season he will be picking up his first career points-paying win in the Hersheys Cup Series? Only time will tell. Great run there for him. He goes coast to coast. He started on the pole, and he wins today's race. He didn't spend all day out in front, though. It wasn't until those green flag pit stops that Keith Batson and that 39 team made their move and never looked back. Standings should be complete now, as we will take a look at them. Keith Batson with the win. Second place is going to be Joshua Michaels. Anthony McCrury, so close to becoming a 2-time Clash winner, will have to settle for 3rd. 4th place for Sean Gallighan, his teammate. and Kyle Matthews brings it home in the 5th position. James McCloud will be 6th, Chris Dodd in 7th. Michael Norman, great performance for him in that one-off race here, making a return to Hersheys Cup Series competition. Was out in front for a couple of laps, ran up in the top 10 for most of the day, and finishes 8th. Zachary Fitzwater will finish 9th with teammate Johnny Gardner in 10th, and then the other teammate, Zach Flickinger, in 11th. So a good run for all three of those cars, as Flickinger in a one-off race. Charles Sandfer will finish in 12th, Jake Baskinger 13th. Joshua Ciculli finishes 14th with Benjamin Miles in 15th. J Arndt was 16th, Joseph Srigley 17th, 18th for J Bryant, and Brandon Gonzalez, we saw him get the wall with 2 to go. He finished back by himself in the 20th position. The rest of these drivers all were running, but had lost the lead pack after the cycle of green flag pit stops. Nathan Hudson will finish in 20th, Trent Dunham in 21st, Cody Llamas 22nd, Brooke Allan 23rd, Jessica Shelton in 24th, and Caitlin Sang in the 25th position. But the good news for all these drivers, with the possible exception of Keith Batson, is this was a non-points event. Keith Batson will be taking home the big-time purse, as well as a lot of people will probably be looking at that 39 to have a lot of speed in the qualifying sessions here this week, as well as in the Great American Race Daytona 500 itself. But that's going to do it here from today's Clash from Daytona. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become a part of the crew today. Daytona week continues on here, as tomorrow we will have Daytona 500 pole day qualifying. The front row will be determined for the Great American Race. After that, we've got our 2 Can-Am duels. Those will be taking place the following day, in which we will determine the rest of the starting grid for the Daytona 500. Then after that, it's our first Tax Slayer Truck Series race, as well as our first Pizza Hut X Series race, and then we cap it all off with the Daytona 500 first race of Season 5 of the Hersheys Cup Series. We hope you'll tune in for all those events coming up your way from Daytona, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, offline racing at its best.